Right then, hello and welcome to another one-off. Today we're having a look at All-Star Racing. Now, there were a collection of games that were released by Phoenix Games and Midas Interactive, and they're all pretty much identical to one another. They are incredibly rubbish, as you will soon see, and they were released very, very late in the life cycle of the original PlayStation 1. Now, take into account, the PlayStation 2 was released in 2000 and the original Xbox was released in 2001. This game was released at the end of 2002. So bear that in mind. So really, they should have taken all the advantage of the hardware of the PlayStation to the extent. Oh boy, they skipped a few steps on that one, I tell you that much. So with this one then, All-Star Racing, you got four racing disciplines. You got the Supercar Challenge, Classic Cars, Stock Car Frenzy, and GT Racer. You have 3 races on each, and you have 3 cars to choose from. We're going to start at the very beginning. And yeah, this game is just absolutely terrible. And all the other games that came out from the same developer, both Phoenix Games and Midas Interactive, they're all identical. All the same menus, the same options. Yeah, it's not great. As you can see, the options are very bare-boned anyway. You got difficulty, medium, easy, or hard. I'm just going to keep it on medium. Laps, I'm going to keep it on 3 because that's the lowest you can go. Sound effects volume, I am turning this down to about 60. Music volume, I'm turning down to about 40. Yeah, the audio on this game is atrocious. There's no music either. You have one music track that plays throughout the entire game. And that is it. So you have 3 cars to choose from. You have a, what's that, a Ferrari looking thing. Then you have a something else looking thing. Then you have one car that actually does look like a real life car, which is the Ferrari F40. So we're going to start with car number 1, the Pina 238. And you have 3 races you can do as well. You've got Garrett Hills, Forest Valley, and Murren Ridge. Going to start at the beginning with Garrett Hills. And yeah, I've already done a whole playthrough of this for the second channel, but I wanted to do a one-off on this channel as well, just to show people how incredibly shit this game is. And apologies for the language, but it is very justified. Yeah. The audio does clip as well. And away we go. And you do have a look back button. You do have multiple camera angles as well. You have 3 in total. So you got the far chase, the main chase, the far chase, and internal cameras. We're gonna stick on the close chase cam. But again, remember, this game came out in 2002. I don't know where they were trying to go for it, but I believe they just wanted to make a massive collection of these budget titles for the end of the life of the Sony PlayStation. But no effort was put into this at all. Absolutely none. In fact, Rage Racer that came out in, what, 1997, 1998, had more effort put into it. And that was near about, you know, the midpoint of the life cycle of the Sony PlayStation. In fact, no, scratch that. The first racing game, well, one of the first racing games on the PlayStation was Ridge Racer 1, the original Ridge Racer. That was one of the launch titles. That had better polish than this thing. And that came out in 1994. So 8 years down the road, and you're given this as a goodbye present for the Sony PlayStation. Yeah, not very great. But they made an absolute ton of these games, and I do have the collection, so I will be going through them. Some of them are really terrible, but I'm going to try and go through them in order that they were released. So some of the collection were released in 2004, and they don't look any different. The only difference is that it uses different cars or whatever they decided to use at the time. But yeah, imagine, 2004, they were still making these. What possessed them to do it? I have no clue. But yeah, even though some of the games were published by different publishers, for example, Midas Interactive and Phoenix Games, they're using the same engine. on every game. So, yeah, not great. But we're in the lead. Do we win anything for being in the lead and for winning the races? Absolutely not. There are no bonuses, there's no unlockables, there's no cheats, there's nothing at all. This is all you get. You win a race and then it's game over, you press start and it takes you directly back to the menu. That is it. That is the extent of the excitement of this game. Atrocious. Utterly atrocious. Anyway, start menu. Let's go again, shall we? So we're going to go with the second car this time. And the second track, Forest Valley. So some of the music as well. There is a music track. I can't remember if it's this game or the other one. There's another one called 5 Star Racing. It came out a year after this. And a sequel. This game had a sequel as well. All-Star Racing 2. We'll get into that later on though. But yeah, I mean, there's a music track in the menus. And it pierces your ears. It is so painful. It's like a Morse code, but it's a high-pitched whistle that probably is only audible to certain species of rodent. It is bloody terrible. And notice as well, when you start these races, the camera is automatically put into the in-car. Some of the other series, or championships in this game, if you can call it a game, it's a demo, really. It sets you on this chase cam. No idea why. None of it is consistent. None of the AI are consistent. It's just... Wait, did I pick the right track? Yeah, we did. Sorry, the tracks as well look very similar to one another, so I was a bit confused on whether I did select the other track or not. So this is supposed to be a Ferrari, I can imagine. Going by the rear lights. That car, I have no idea what that car was supposed to be. The brown one. But yeah, isn't this exciting? Some of the blurbs on the back of the jewel case as well is like, oh, excitement in every single race. Go head to head with all these drivers, and there is no challenge, there is no excitement. In fact, if I was a poor little sod who got this for Christmas, I would be devastated. So it's 2002, I wanted Gran Turismo 3. Why am I given this? I bet some poor kid probably had that happen to him. You know, it was Christmas morning, 2002, and they're expecting, you know, they wrote to Santa Claus and they're like, "Dear Santa, I want a PlayStation 2 and Gran Turismo 3 for Christmas. That is all I want." You know, and he wakes up in the morning and he's given this. Oh boy, could you imagine? It doesn't bear thinking about, really. I mean, if I was given this instead of Gran Turismo 3, you know, I would have been like, yeah, thanks, you know, it's a racing game, you know, I do like racing games, but, I mean, this game can be completed in under an hour. So after an hour on Christmas morning, you've completed the game and you have nothing else to do. So, yeah. I mean, if the devs did try and put any effort into this, you know, it definitely doesn't show. There's no passion that's gone into this project. This is just a collection of budget demo games that they wanted to make a quick penny off of, and that is pretty much it. So anyway, that is race 2 done. Hooray! Let's go back to the menu and do it all over again. In the Ferrari F40 this time, no? Once it loads, this is very similar to Monster Trucks that I've already done a series on. It's a loading simulator. You get about 3 minutes of races, and then you get a loading screen. Which one have we done? We've done... Oh, I've forgotten now. We've done Garrett Hills, Forest Valley, Murren Ridge we haven't done yet. But yeah, it's just a loading screen with a bit of a game thrown in for good measure. And all of them are like that as well. So they did make a lot of games. Not all of them racing. They did do like some football games and this, that, and the other as well. But oh boy. Anyway, here we go again in car. I want to be outside, please. Now, I will give him a couple of plus points here. The back of this car, the Ferrari F40 wannabe, does look fairly competent. It does look like a Ferrari. You can tell what it is. Obviously, they haven't got the license to use a Ferrari name, but you can tell what it is. It's got the grills in the back window partial shelf thing. The lights are there, the little badges and everything. So you can tell what it is. And it does look semi-decent. But again, this came out a year after the PlayStation 2. Or 2 years after the PlayStation 2. So, yeah, you know. Swings and roundabouts, eh? Now, there is one race in the categories, in the classic car categories, that I will not win. And you'll see why when we get to it. Which won't be long because we're almost finished with this championship now. I might actually not win this one either. Just gotta try and catch him. A little bit difficult. It's a forest, but they got high-rise buildings and office towers. Not a great forest. I think some of these tracks were definitely referenced... Oh, come on, get out of the way. Were definitely referenced to the original Gran Turismo. That's what some of them feel like. Oh yeah, and the final lap bar that you get across the entire screen. God, that noise is deafening. Slowly catching. Yeah, we got this one. If we can get past him though before the end. Like there. And final corner. Like so. And there we go. Not too bad. Another victory. So that's 3 wins out of the first 3 races. So it was the Pina, the Fenzo, the Manelli, and the Pina again. So that is it for the first cluster of races. Wasn't that very exciting? I bet you're chomping at the bit to see some more, aren't you? Yeah, I bet 95% of the people have already turned off after the first 30 seconds, but there you go. Right, quick game. Now it's a turn for the classic cars. More loading screens to load a screen. Come on, guys. It's not difficult to put a static loading screen in there. Right, Supercar Challenge is done. Classic Cars is next. Wait for it. Loading screen. Yes, we love the loading screen and some very basic fonts that they've used because they couldn't be arsed to find something more decent. Right. Oh yeah, this is the music. This is what I was on about. It's like beeps. That's not music. That is a torture device that they used in the medieval times. Oh my word. Anyway, this is one of the cars you're given. You got a Mini Cooper, and then you got something else that looks like a Trabant or something. That's a... Can't remember what that is. I think that's an Alpine. That is definitely an Alpine of some description. Right, we have Mountain Chase, Hillside Circuit, or Forest GP. Gonna start with Mountain Chase. Yeah, that is the bit of music I was on about. It's just a little bit of a slight hi-hat riff in the background, but then it's just a select number of beeps. It's like that city bus simulator thing that came out on like the Commodore 64 or whatever it is. Absolutely atrocious. And there you go, I didn't have to change the camera angle this time. It's already set on the chase. And away we go. Yes, these cars are a lot slower than the supercars, which is obvious. Now me, being me, I would have started with the classic cars first because they are the slowest, and then worked my way up through the categories. So next would have been, say, the stock car frenzy, then the GTs, and then the supercars. But no, they've done it all ass backwards. You get the supercars, then you get the classics, then you get the stock cars, and then you get the GTs. Which doesn't make any sense, but oh well. We'll roll with it. Now, the only thing consistent with this game as well is that they changed the font for every category that you race with. So you've got a sort of like a classic, more vintage style looking font, which it doesn't really, because, you know, it should be more bold and rounded. This is like one of the sans serif fonts. Thank God that I was surprised they didn't use Comic Sans. I was sure that with the quality of this game, they would have used Comic Sans somewhere in this game. But nope, they avoided Comic Sans, which, you know, I'll give them a point for. But, yeah. It's... my word. I don't know. You cannot fathom the words to describe these types of games, or what was going through the heads of the people who thought it was a good idea to develop these said games / demos. I don't know. The only comparison I can make with these types of games is Steam. Before, you used to have Steam Greenlight, so people would vote on what they would like to have on Steam. You know, it was sort of like a way to filter out some of the really crappy games from ever making it onto the Steam platform, you know, just for either a scam or a profit or this, that and the other. Ever since they got rid of Steam Greenlight, you have all these games popping up left, right and centre. In fact, I seen one a couple of weeks ago that was originally priced as 24 pence. It was called, I think it was City Bus Driver or something like that. It was one of those really low budget games. And lo and behold, I check the list a couple of weeks later, and it was on sale for £268 or £269. And having a look at the reviews, all the people that actually played the game, the poor sods, were saying that it took them less than 10 minutes to complete. It had no replayability, and then they whacked the price up to 269 quid. That kind of scam is what reminds me of these types of games. They feel like just a little marketing scam that they can try and get a cheap profit because they've seen other people do it. But it didn't work. Anyway, race over. You can't change your name either. You're always player one. Which, again, no effort at all. Was that Coventry Cola or something in the background? Oh, here's that. I want to know what this music is supposed to be, and whoever tried to compose this absolute ass wash. Anyway, Hillside Circuit next. I'm losing my voice, sorry. But yes, we're now in the Mini Cooper, which is the slowest car in the game, and I will not win this race purely for the fact that you cannot win the race when you're driving the Mini Cooper. It is nigh on impossible. Obviously you can, but this track, not the greatest track to drive the Mini on. One, go! Oh yeah, the sheer speed. When the other drivers don't get in the way. It has no turning ability. It has no acceleration. But then it is going faster than a Mini Cooper of the 1960s would. I mean, we're already up to 88 mile an hour. I don't think the Mini Cooper back then had that type of top speed. I think it only had a top speed of around about 67 mile an hour, something like that. I know my granddad, he had a Mini Cooper. That was a lovely machine. Really smooth. Massive steering wheel. Massive center console. They were the good old days. Certainly one of my dream cars. If someone gave me a Mini Cooper, I would be over the moon. But classic cars these days, so expensive. Just as a, you know, to pique my curiosity, I went on eBay Motors just to see how much people were selling some classic cars. And cars that I wouldn't consider classics, even like in the mid to late 90s, you know, are being sold in excess of £25,000. I mean, a Mini Cooper, if you want to get yourself a really nice quality Mini Cooper, you're looking at about £50,000 to £75,000. That's crazy. Just to think, back in the good old days when new cars were released, it was like, oh yeah, I bought this car for £50 in old money. I bought it for a shilling, governor. You know, inflation today, that would be like £500,000, you know. Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I would like to get my hands on an old Mini Metro. So I like small cars, so the Fiat 126, Mini Metro, a Mini, an old Mark 1 Ford Fiesta, something like that. But yeah, you're like 25, 50, 60, 70,000 pounds. I think even a Mini Metro is like worth 40,000 if you get a really, really good one. The Austin Allegro, oh my word, don't even get me started on that. That is going for a fortune. With the square steering wheel, which was revolutionary for the time. Never caught on though, strangely enough. Something that never caught on either is that I'm leading this race and I don't know why. So I didn't win this race during the video I recorded for the second channel. In fact, I struggled. And I'm not struggling at all on this one. How bizarre. Maybe it's because I'm talking more and I'm... You know, you don't really have to use your brain power to play this game, so that could be why. I'll just shut my brain off entirely. Daydreaming that I'm playing something other than this monstrosity. Yeah, that is one of the things, that is one of the little bullet points on the back of the case when you're playing this game. You have to turn your brain off. Because if you are actually thinking about playing this game, it would drain your IQ to the point that you're just sat there as a dribbling mess. So yeah, turn your brain off and you'll be fine. And there we go. That was a bit of a shock. I didn't expect to win, but I won nonetheless. Hooray! The SK Mark II, the Stalwart, Belling V2, and the Stalwart again. But we don't want to worry about that. We just want to get on to the last race of the classic cars before we go on to the stock car frenzy. Come on. Hurry it up. Start. And there's that bloody music again. Oh my word. And Forest GP is the last circuit then. RS Radical Sport. That is Coventry Cola, isn't it? Or is that Coventry Lola? I don't really know. No, because that would be Loventry Lola. It's the same font. So it's Coventry Cola. Okay then. And go. There is a cola brand that I absolutely love. It's called Curiosity Cola. And it is bloody delicious. It's literally, if you've ever had the cola bottles from Haribo, or if you've gone to Lidl and you've bought yourself one of those big bags of, you know, European brand cola bottles, it's like a liquid version of that. Bloody gorgeous. Very hard to find. You can't really find it in many places these days. But you can get it on eBay, I'm sure. But yeah, it's called Curiosity Cola, and it comes in a nice big glass bottle. It's bloody lovely. I don't know about you, but I find Coke tastes better when it's in a glass bottle than it does when it's in a plastic 500ml bottle. There we go, second place. The leader is just there. Oh no, cut his line. Oh, he's cut his line again, but that's fine, because collision detection really isn't a thing. Whee! I mean, they did take a little bit of effort in making some of the logos on the side of the circuit, you know, to look like real life logos, to avoid the copyright. But you know, I'm giving this game way too much credit. I shouldn't, because it's scary and it's horrible, and you get nothing for your efforts. You know, with the least amount of effort that was put into making this, you would have thought, as a bonus extra, you know, after you've completed all of the, you know, challenges or races, they would have given you like a, I don't know, an F-16 fighter jet or something, and just go around and blow everything up. But sadly, no, not the case. So what kind of car is this we're driving? I think it might be... I think I might be right, it's like a Trabant kind of thing. Or some, I don't know. Might be a Renault, an old Renault perhaps? No, because that'll be the first one, that'll be the Alpine. But... oh well. And the music that you can hear playing in the background as well, it's just... it's like a literal 5-second loop that is playing over and over and over and over again. There's no difference at all. Anyway, we get another victory, so that is 3 wins out of 3 for the classic cars. So 2 disciplines down, 2 to go, and you don't even have to wait for all the standings to appear at the end. You can just cancel and get out of the race. So we're moving on now to the stock car frenzy. How exciting! No, it isn't. It really, really isn't. More loading screens for a static background. Hooray! Great job, lads. Alright, stock car frenzy then. Before the final of GT Racer. I like that, chapstick instead of champion. At least the stock cars do look like they're some of their real life counterparts. So you've got car number 43. This is of course the STP Richard Petty machine. You do have the champion, or the chapstick machine as it's called. I can't remember who drove this one. Or something like it. And then you have the Tide Ride, or the File machine. Car number 20. Yes. Yes, indeed. Right, we have Bowman Raceway, we have Milton Race Circuit, and then we have Aniston Runway. So, yay. Bowman Raceway then to get started. And this will be over fairly quickly. Because if you haven't already guessed, being stock cars, one of the racetracks is a giant circle. Not this one, though. Oh, it's that menu music. Yes, of course it plays throughout the stock cars. So you're going to have some ear-splitting beeps and boops playing non-stop throughout this entire race. Already up into second. And now the lead. Very easy. This track I don't think you have to brake on. Oh yeah, you do. One of the tracks anyway, excluding the oval, so it must be the last race. You don't actually have to use your brakes or let off the throttle or anything. You just blast around at the speed of sound, or 150 mile an hour. These also don't sound nothing like stock cars. They sound like 50cc mopeds. Are being hired by Just Eat or Deliveroo to deliver your McDonald's large hot chocolate, which most of it has been spilt in the bottom of the bag. And they still charge you full price for it. Not that I've had experience with any of that, no, not at all. Every single bloody time. But yeah, anyway. So as you can see, we are just blowing the competition out of the water. Don't even have to try. The grass and dirt don't really slow you down that much either. If you just blast through it, then you tend to keep most of your speed. Not always, but not like the sticky grass that you usually find on some racing games. There we go, last lap. And the music is still doing that weird beeping, booping, whatever. It's like you got some chanting going on in there as well. I think that might be like an alien call sign. I don't know. But yeah, it's not really much more to say about this. The stock cars, they're just run-of-the-mill stock cars. It still shocks me that these games, you know, were released in the first couple of years of the 2000s. It's mind-boggling. Oh, and there's that beeping of the music back again. Oh, my ears, my poor little ears. Oh well, Top Hole is the sponsor of the car. And that is it done. We don't have to wait for any of the rest of them to finish. Just jump straight into the next, which is the giant oval, and then we'll be using the chapstick machine. How exciting. Right, chapstick 93. There we go. Right, Milton Race Circuit. This is a giant oval. And it is absolutely easy as sin. So you don't really have to use your brain on this one, of course, being just a giant circle. Once the race begins. And again, the lovely beeping. 2, 1, go! And the record for this lap, or for the race, is 48.3 seconds. I think we'll be able to do that. If the chapstick machine didn't get in the way. Excuse me. They don't want to let me pass, do they? Handling characteristics are a little bit strange, even though it is using the analog controls. It's still incredibly sensitive. So you end up just tapping it most of the time just to get around bit by bit. Get out the way. Get out the bloody way. There we go. So our best lap at the moment is 55.88. I don't think we're going to get a 48.33. In fact, I don't even think that that record is achievable. Just thinking back on the video I'd already recorded for the second channel, I don't think I got close to that. Or I may have done. Might be thinking of another race. Not sure. Now we're getting close to it now, look. No, already passed it. So, no, I don't think that, unless you're really cutting it fine on the inside, I don't think it's possible. I'll try it. Just see if I can beat the record, but I doubt it. And that Gregorian chanting, or whatever the hell this music is supposed to be, is going off in the background. Oh, I like it. Foster's looking logo. Five, 6, 7, 8. No. No, I don't think it's possible to beat that record. I think it might just be over a smidge, but yeah, I've never beaten it, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, that was the second race done. One more to go for the stock car frenzy, and then we're moving on to the last category, which is, of course, GT Racer. Very original name. Come on, get on with it then. Select your car. The Tide Ride, please, and we're going to go to Aniston Runway. And we have to wait for the loading, of course. Once it loads. Bloody loading screens. Anyway. What is this music supposed to be? It is... Oh, it grates on your senses. Now this track you don't have to use your brakes at all or let off the throttle, you can go through flat out. Because this track is incredibly wide and incredibly open. And will be over fairly quickly as well. One would assume, as a default record for this one is 49 seconds. So yeah, so you're going to have to listen to this annoying drone of the engine that goes do 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 for the next, I don't know, 2 minutes. Alright, lap number 1 then, 53.6. At least you got some planes on the side of the runway, I guess. A racetrack in the middle of an active airfield. You know, I've seen stranger things. And what is our lap gonna be for lap number 2? We're not going to beat the record, I don't think. Ah, yes, we did. 48.4. See if we can beat this one again by a little bit. There's just no challenge at all. It's just... Ugh, what is the point? With that weird alien chanting in the background of the music as well, if you can call it music. And yes, we beat the record again, I think. Hooray! We won another race. And that is the stock car frenzy over. And that, as I say, is that for the Stock Car Frenzy campaign. So now we only got one more to do, which is, of course, the GTs. And you really don't get anything new with those either. So, as always, exit the game, please. Another loading screen. Yes, you can't have a loading screen to load up a static background image. Where would fun in that be? Anyway, GT Racer then, the final campaign. Another loading screen, please. Yes, thank you very much. Now, the cars on these one do look fairly competent. You do know what they are. You have a Mercedes-Benz, you could see it on there. You have the Mercedes, you have a Porsche-looking machine, and you have something else, a NSX, a Honda NSX. So, yeah, there you go. At least you can tell what the cars are on this one. Anyway, the 3 tracks then are Iona Speedway, Hampton Race Circuit, and Boulder Raceway. We're going to start as Iona Speedway, sorry, to kick things off for the final 3 races of this entire game. Don't worry, it will be over soon. The torment will end. Ah, at least the music is slightly better this time. But yes, that does look like an NSX from Gran Turismo 1. If you squint really hard. And there we go. And in the lead. Simple as that. And again, the sound effects are way too loud. I had this on 100% when I was testing it to do the other video for the other channel. And it near enough blew my eardrums out with how loud and clipping the audio was. Bloody terrible. But turning it down a bit, you know, does make it a little bit less of a torturous experience. And that is lap 1 complete. And we are miles ahead, so there you go. And that's what I mean about the handling not being 100%. You can tell that it's either too sensitive or nothing happens. And you have that little repeating audio clip of the tires screeching. When really that sounds like a bloodhound being stomped on. It's just an ear-grating screech. And not very pleasant to listen to at all. But as I said, it's all coming to an end very soon, so do not fear. Final lap. Best lap at the moment is a 108. Or is it the record? My laptop, I don't know. I think the best lap is what I've done so far, 1 minute 8 seconds. See if we can actually beat the lap record, shall we? Well, I'm not going to do it now. No. As you can see though, the dirt and the gravel don't slow you down to such a huge extent. What makes me laugh about this game though is that it is less competent than Eutechnyx games. Where have you ever heard me say that before? Eutechnyx is more competitive or more competent when it comes to making racing games than this company. Well, there you go. That's the only time I'm going to say that. If I say it again, I will be cursed for the rest of my days. Anyway, we're going to jump into the Mercedes for the penultimate race in the GT Racer and the penultimate race in this entire game. And we're going to go to Hampton Race Circuit for the penultimate race as well. I do like how they got the Rally Sport logo, but of course the original logo is R-A-L-L-I instead of, you know, rally as it's properly spelt. So there's one way to get past the copyright demons. Lap record on this one is 54 seconds. I'm going to try and beat that. And the deafening audio again. You can tell this is a true arcade racer though, similar to Ridge Racer. Is that none of your lights work or anything like that. So you brake, nothing happens. They couldn't even program in working brake lights. Oh, well. It's a sad day when that happens, but there you go. There you go. You heard the audio clipping a little bit there, where it got a little bit too leery. And a 1 minute, almost 1 minute lap time. Now, surprisingly, these games are quite susceptible to crashing, but I've been very lucky so far that that hasn't happened. Get out of the way. No, we're not going to beat the lap record this time either. Very close though, 55.52. So we begin the final lap. And the amazing collision detection. And the god-awful audio. It's just painful. The audio is just so incredibly painful. It's like they put all the audio on one sound channel and just let it be. Without no mixing or anything to make sure audio doesn't clip. Or nothing like that. It was just, right, stick it all on one audio track and let's be done with it. You know, we're late for the evening breakfast or evening dinner at the local pub. And there we go. So we don't have to worry again about the standings at the end. Just get on with the final race and collect our big prize, which is a big fat bowl of nothing. Oh, yes, nothing at all. I mean, if they said, okay, you've completed all of the races, you've used all the cars, as a little prize, we'll give you another category, which is like, I don't know, spacecraft or something. That you could have 3 more races on 3 different, you know, hovercraft or something. That would be cool. They would show initiative. They would have some originality, but no, nothing like that. What you see is what you get, and this is the last race, and you get nothing more. But again, you can tell it's a Porsche 911. In fact, it's probably ripped from Le Mans 24 Hours. Which was, coincidentally, made by Eutechnics. Get out the way. Thank you. And 1 lap complete, 2 to go. Will we beat the lap time? 43, 44, yes we did. 43.8 on the final lap. Again, that's pointless though, you don't win anything for beating the best lap or anything like that. And there we go. Game is complete. Hooray! Now we just go back to the menu and that is it. So yeah, that is All-Star Racing number 1. Again, there is a sequel to this game as well, which I'll be going through, as well as the game similar to this, which is called 5-Star Racing as well, which was made by Phoenix Games. So yeah, there you go. Let's just exit this game and collect our prize, which again is nothing at all. The prize is when you turn off the console and you realize you don't have to play this game again. That is the best prize anyone could ever have. But yes, there you go. That is it. The game is complete and you get nothing else. So yeah, that is another one-off then of another really crappy game. We'll be back next time for another really crappy game at some point. But for now, I'll leave it here. So thank you very much for watching as always, and I will see you all next time. Bye for now.